such a large group coordinated that, again, the regular calls helped with that, keeping people on pace and on task. And when you're doing an exercise of this nature, the frequency of the meeting is critical. And we'll talk about how we made that easy for everyone just a little bit further on in the presentation. But specifically, the things that we worked on moved into the technology area, and technology became a bigger focus, and we'll discuss that as well. So the scope of this exercise, kind of group things together here. You have hazmat for all agencies. Now, the main group that wanted to exercise hazmat was fire, but we also had to have water people understanding what that meant. What happens if they go to a particular tank location and find something? What can they touch? What do they do? How do they make sure that their personal safety is taken into consideration? And they're focusing on not only getting the proper people in, but making sure that they're not in danger themselves. The Santa Clara County Fire Department had been working on the concept of unified command, and unified command meaning that they wanted to coordinate not only amongst the fire, but they wanted police in that unified command and representation from the water community, both the water retailer and any regulatory agencies that may need to be involved as well. For instance, our county public health, state public health, and the EPA. Along with that, communications, which is always a challenge in exercises and always a challenge during events. We wanted to make sure that that became a part of this. And at that time, our PIO team was working on the concept of the Joint Information Center, or the JIC. And so we added that as something that we wanted to work on as a phase of this exercise that we wanted to implement. CamelNet is the California Mutual Aid Laboratory Network. So the CamelNet is a part of the emergency water quality sampling. And how do you sample a large number of locations, get those samples, get them taken, get them submitted, tracked, and reported back. One lab will not be able to handle such a large number of samples. So the California Department of Public Health developed this mutual aid network of laboratories that allowed them to go out and submit large numbers of samples to multiple agencies and then bring it back. That meant that we had to not only get the samples out, but how are we going to coordinate that? That meant operating procedures, and then how do you activate the network? On the op area side or the county side, they wanted to participate in the Joint Information Center. We had also been working on potable water planning, which we'll talk about in a minute, and that led to development of an emergency potable water plan, which we'll discuss. NIST, the National Institute for Standards and Technology, had been working on developing some exercise software, and so we volunteered to help in that evaluation and test of that software during this exercise. San Jose Water Company ourselves, one of the key things is we wanted to do a cold start. The year before, we had done an exercise, and we had everything set up in the EOC. The players came in and handled their positions. This time, we wanted it to be as real as possible. Therefore, they knew that an exercise was going to happen during the day, but they didn't know what time, and they had to come in and get their system set up and running. We also had some new staff that had been trained, and so some of that staff participated in the EOC portion of the event. And again, some of the other goals that we had was coordinating with fire, the county EOC, so the PIO, water plan, CamelNet, all of those were a part of our goals as well. And then some new EOC technology that we installed. We wanted to test that. So one of the key tools that we used at that time was WebEx. We held twice monthly meetings, and they were an hour long, which allowed us to bring in people from all over the state for a 1-hour meeting and then let them go. It reduced travel time for people tremendously. They were able to participate, do their normal job, participate in planning, go back to their normal job, and it fit very well. It was probably one of the best things that we did in the planning phase of this. We also used smartboard technology, which is an automated or interactive whiteboard, which allowed us to project images, and then we could draw on the board, save those images to an electronic file, and then email to everyone. It worked out very well. The NIST software, which was the exercise control software, allowed us to put in injects and track those injects and then submit them to players on a specific time. It was very, I would say, alpha software, so it worked okay, not great, but there were a lot of lessons learned from that, and they were able to take that back and make some changes. And then common operating picture, or what we call COMPIC. We've been working on common operating picture technology for quite a while, and this exercise was one of the starting points for us to develop what requirements would be in this type of software. What you're seeing now is a sample of one of the emergency water quality sample kits. These were developed by the California Department of Public Health. These kits are packaged up, and 2 of them go out each time. They have all of the bottles, the vials, the collection equipment, the forms necessary to perform the collection of an unknown substance that can be then flown back or driven back to one of the public health labs, analyzed to determine what it is so that the teams on the ground can start taking action. There were several tabletops leading to the development of this and through the development of this package, but it had never been tested, and so we wanted to make sure that there was an actual field test, and that's one of the main purposes for this exercise. You can see that there's just some pictures of some of the training that we did with some of the local fire agencies to get them familiar with the emergency water quality sample kits, how to use them, how to fill out the reports and the forms, and we probably did, I think it was 4 classroom exercises, but we also did 2 field exercises where we actually went out, worked with the hazmat teams, and let them work with the bottles, collect liquids, and practice taking samples. Exercise planning. There were 3 key planners along with myself. Kelly Seitz, who's our local hazmat guru and known statewide for his knowledge in hazardous materials handling. He was really the one that drove the exercise. Without him, we could not have done the exercise. Dave Coggeshall in the center, he's our mapping person and has developed common operating picture technology with San Jose Water, and was very knowledgeable in internet technology and internet mapping, and then was really one of the key factors in keeping the NIST software moving and that effort moving forward and better development. Rick Ellinger, who's a local kind of hazardous or emergency management volunteer, helped with the planning, and with his business knowledge was able to help with a lot of the coordination that we needed to do. Tabletop exercises for the camel net, for the PIO functions. Again, several exercises held, which proved very valuable when it came time for the actual game day. When game day hit, we started off with no technology other than the laptops and the smartboard, and then slowly worked the exercise into using some of the common operating picture technology to show people how much of an advantage this technology can be. Out at the site, we actually spilled some milk on the ground, which was the same color and consistency of the chemical that the crews would be treating. We actually had